This is a second of the three batches of memories that I'm recording for you. It is still the 29th of November 2016, and this is the third time I've tried to do this video. The first time I ran out of space, so I had to delete things off my iPad. The second time I had a phone call from the hospital informing me that Mum was coming home, so now I'm having to sort of like do this quickly before she comes home. But anyway, this second batch of memories, stroke videos, I'm going to call funny, but you can judge whether you think they're funny or not, but they amuse me. And where do I start? Well, when I was actually watching the previous video over, it occurred to me that I used to call you my little dumpling, and I hadn't actually thought of including this story in this selection or any other selection. It just hadn't occurred to me at all. But then I remembered that, and I thought, no, it's quite important. So I'm going to start off my little dumpling, and this story starts from before you were born. Your mum and I went on a romantic holiday to the Czech Republic in Prague in April 2010. And we had quite a lot of stews while we were there. Like, they're very big into goulash, which is like a Hungarian stroke Czech Republic version of our stew. And it's made with paprika, I believe, and beef and God knows what else. But they put dumplings in it, but their dumplings are different to ours. And we really like their food. Well, the first half of the holiday we liked the food. After that we were having different things. It was horrid. But we quite liked some of their food, and you know, we kind of believed that you were conceived in the Czech Republic, and we decided to call you Dumpling, or our little dumpling. But actually you were never conceived then, you were conceived some considerable time before. But throughout the pregnancy we were regarding as Dumpling because you weren't actually a child at the time, and we carried on calling you after. But you were never conceived then, but we just decided that we were going to call you Dumpling, or Daddy's little dumpling. So now you know, if you don't know already. And the next story in this selection is going to be when I was chatting to your mum and you on FaceTime, and I think you might have been about 2 years old, and Mum was very good at stimulating your imagination, and you had like a blank book that you could write in or colour in or whatever. Mummy said, "Ariana, why don't you read to Daddy?" And then you opened the book and you said, "Once upon a time..." There's nothing on here. And I absolutely laughed out loud. It was so funny. You seem a bit confused, and Mummy said, "Oh, you've made Daddy laugh." And then you smiled, and then you laughed, and it was actually quite funny. But it was so funny because it was a blank book. There was literally nothing in it. Now the next story. I am gonna call Pooed. You must have been about one-ish, probably about one, something like that, I'm not quite sure. And Mum had driven us to your nan's house, but she parked the car outside her house and left us in it. Now your mum lived up on a different floor, so your mum used to sort of used to get to see your nan via a lift. And you kept on saying to me, "Daddy pooed." And I said, "Oh, it's okay, Ariana, it's fine, don't worry." Pooed. I said, "No, it's fine, don't worry, everything will be all right." And I just looked at your angelic face. I don't think you really understood what I meant. But on reflection, it was the other way round, because when your mum got back into the car, I said, "I think she's pooed." She keeps saying pooed. And your mum said, "No." When I came to see my mum some while ago, the lift broke and I got trapped in the lift. And I messed myself. So, Ariana, you weren't saying pooed because you filled your pants. You were saying it because your mum had. It was so funny. Now, the next story in this selection, it's sort of a collection of little stories, really. When you were young, we sort of take you to the toilet, and you were sort of like beginning to recognise the difference between men and women in terms of their wedding tackle. And I remember taking you into a disabled toilet in a coffee house in Barry Island, and you'd gone for a wee, and of course, you know, I'm now going for a wee, and I'm standing up and I'm having a wee, and you're sort of looking at it like that, and it was making me feel really, you know, self-conscious and embarrassed. Stop looking at me, I was thinking. And you kept on looking at me and looking at the trail that was coming out of it, and I found it really embarrassing. But I remember another time, you know, probably when you were about 2, maybe going on 3, when your speech was developing a lot, you had a poo in the toilet, because you used to like me taking you to the toilet back then, and always just sort of like and taking you to mum's house, mum's toilet, and I think there was like a little step that you could get on, so you get onto the toilet, and you always held my hand and got onto it, and then you had a poo, and you said, "Daddy, Daddy, big, massive sausages." I don't know where you got this language from. It's like very descriptive of your poos. Daddy, big, massive sausages. It was quite amusing. Now I've done that one. I've done that one. Now the last story in this is, I'm not going to give it a name because, you know, you'll understand as I tell you what it's about. But I think you must have been about 3 years old at the time, and despite the fact you were 3 years old at the time, I think this was the first ever time I was in your house where an ice cream van had pulled up at the end of your road, and it was making the sound that ice cream vans make. And all of a sudden your mum had a very weird looking expression on her face, and I thought, what the hell's going on about that? And then you started jumping up and down and said, "Daddy, Daddy, I want an ice cream." And I says, "Oh, I really don't think Daddy can afford it." "Oh, come on, Daddy, you've got loads of money." I went, "What? Where's this come from?" Anyway, I sort of like, you know, took you outside, and we started making our way towards at the end of the street where the ice cream van was, and the queue was getting longer and longer and longer, and the reason is it had like a little whipping machine where the ice cream would sort of be whipped out of the actual nozzle or whatever and be poured onto the cone, but they seemed to be having a problem with it. I don't know whether the motor wasn't working or whatever it was, and we were waiting there for quite a while and nobody was getting served, and I said, "Oh, Ariana, there's no ice cream." And you said, "You're a fibber, Daddy." I thought, I'm not even telling lies, that's the truth. But I don't think I think you had to have a lolly in the end. I think you was with your friend, and you both had to have lollies, because the ice cream van just wasn't, you know, pouring out ice cream, unfortunately. But anyway, that is the second collection of the films, and I will be posting the third lot shortly.